Forget the past and look towards a championship run with our top fantasy football rest of season rankings debates. That's right. We'll tell you who we would rather roster down the stretch. All this and more. It's the IBT podcast coming right at you.
I've been going dummy, out of bounds, putting on a clinic. Stick around, carrots in my hardware. KC, caught him in the crosshair. Look at me, been the guy, call him Mr. MVP. Keep your ass on the bench by my MPC. Earn my stripes like I fixed this league. Your dog's on the turf, my dog's in the street. You can find me somewhere in between. Never a dull moment like a movie scene. About to do the ops like I did this beat. Let them keep talking RG3. Coming to you live. This is the In Between Fantasy Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome into the In Between Fantasy Football Podcast, your place for both a refreshing and feel-good take on fantasy football and NFL gambling. It's the peak of autumn and the NFL season, which means we have the perfect time for a new edition of Would You Rather. We'll bring you who we're talking rest of season, also our Week 7 NFL betting cards in this episode. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and getting down with me is the boys tonight, including a big business, light ranch, and son of a gun in the heart of Friday Night Lights country. He's Eric Romoff. What's going on there, Tex?
Man, I'm coming off one of the weirdest phenomenons in all of fantasy football. I got dump trucked pretty much up and down in every single league, except for my one league of record, the one that I care about the most. And honestly, it solidifies that position. I do not care that I lost in my other dozen leagues as long as that league of record brings me a dub.
I feel the exact same way. Everything else, the betting cards, the analysis I gave on the internet, everything goes away as long as I win in that home league. I'm with you there, Eric.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Well, good to see you back in action. Also, we have a guy who I've officially passed on the Scott Fishbowl leaderboard joining us tonight. He's our NFL and entertainment betting expert here at IBT. He's Boston's boy, Steve Lawson. Steven, how are you as Week 7 is roughly 48 hours from getting underway?
I am conflicted. First off, in Scott Fishbowl, just know I do have Brock Bowers and Rashee Rice coming back to help bolster my team and move me back up the leaderboards. But this weekend I was on another podcast, and I think I need your guys' opinion. Am I the heel of fantasy football? Am I like
the heel? You are the heel of this particular program. I can't speak to like as a whole. I think there are lots of heels in the industry. I can't give you that title, but this particular program, absolutely.
Like I got called out like I was like bald Randy Orton level, like bad guy. You know what I mean? Like I was getting heat.
Fair.
And I needed to know. I'm like, is it me, or is it just the fact that I just tell it like it is? I mean, I called a bunch of people like crybabies on the internet, like live on air.
Hey, it is a tough world out there. I can understand. We're going to get shrapnel thrown at us. I'm still getting buried right now because our freaking buy Chase Brown low short is not stopping. The internet is having its way with it. So I feel you, Steve. We're in the trenches, but that's what we do.
No, but even when that was going on, remember I got called like a moron by like 8 different people. Like everyone thought I was an idiot. Like,
Hey, that's the game here, right, Eric?
Also, that short is the picture of never wrong, just early. We let that thing soak for another couple of weeks, and we're gonna be looking pretty sharp. I think the arrow is pointing in the right direction. Still in on Chase Brown.
All right, yeah, we'll save that for another time. I've lost my confidence in Chase Brown. To be honest, I'm
the Bengals
still
jumping off.
He's catching up. He's catching up on Travis Etienne on our side bet there, Steve. Little by little. Yes, he absolutely is.
Also, I want to shout out a guy behind the scenes. He is everyone's favorite Yinzer Ginger, a former IUP Crimson Hawk. He's Kyle Scott. Jim, how are those October skies hitting down there in the Berg for you?
Hey, it's great to be back. The October skies are hitting. The October weather is starting to hit as well. We're getting into the 60s. We're dipping our toes into soup weather. So the Yinzers are excited.
Well, I'm glad to have you back here. It's been a couple weeks that you've been live with us, but you've been doing a bunch of hard work for us at IBT behind the scenes, so we appreciate you. Hopefully having a good time down there by the shore. Hey, Steelers, don't look now, baby. 4-1. The division's within sight. So looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Also looking forward to hanging out with the IBT family tonight, including Albert saying good evening, IBT. What's up, Albert? We appreciate you, brother. Also, Sergio checking in with a question. Sergio, we'll get to your questions here in just a little while. We got a stacked program for you first, though. And also, if you want more of us, please consider joining the IBT family. The IBT family is our premium network of community. If you want to go over there, you can have yourself an absolute time. You're going to get access to our full betting cards, the Discord chat, memorabilia giveaways, and entry into our TD contest, all for just $3.99 per month or $36 for the year. You're also going to get access to the NASCAR family, and more sports are on the way for you. Easiest free way to support us, though, just give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Gentlemen, what do you say, though? I think we should go ahead and jump in. The link to everything else you guys need. Our Twitter follows everything from the football family that is in the episode description. So hopefully you guys subscribe, come hang out more. And what do you guys say? Fired up?
Let's rip.
All right, let's do it like Joe Flacco, baby. Let her fly.
Risky business, so that's fair to say. Are you that hard on the rocks? We're chilling with a cold one, even bold one, or hold back. Would you rather? This ain't no simple matter.
Would you rather? We're going through our rest of season rankings debate right here for you. Keep in mind, we will be using fantasy points per game, average scoring for a lot of these. Just accounts for some things like buys, missed games, some messy situations like that. And boys, I want to start with which rookie running back would you rather roster rest of season? Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Scatterboo, or I'll give you an option if you want to throw, JCM, someone else into that mix. Ashton Jeanty currently RB13, 15.3 fantasy points per game. According to Fantasy Pros, he has a 4-star rest of season strength of schedule, meaning it's a good schedule for Jeanty down the stretch. Omarion Hampton, RB12 in fantasy points per game, 15.4 points as well. And on IR right now, not out for the season, though, is on track to be sidelined over the 4-game minimum per Mike Garafolo there. So going to be missing some time, Omarion Hampton, but does have a 4-star strength of schedule if he returns. Quinshon Judkins, RB20, 13.1 points per game. Also has a 4-star strength of schedule ahead. And then Cam Scatterboo, baby, running down with his head straight to the ground, RB11, 16.6 points per game, 3-star strength of schedule. Eric, when it comes to these 3 rookie running backs, how do you sort this one out for who you would rather roster rest of season? Also, IBT family members, you can drop your thoughts on these debates right here in the live chat, and whoever wins, we'll give a point to whoever the consensus agrees with. So, Eric, you're up first, man.
Ooh. So I think there's a pretty clear tier break amongst these 4, and they actually happen to be neatly sorted on this graphic. Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, smell you later. Both incredibly talented runners, not out here trying to wager rest of season anything on a guy that's currently on IR. In Quinshon Judkins, I think he will be dragged down by a very ineffective Cleveland offense from time to time. Whereas Jeanty and Scatterboo are neck and neck in that race for me. Really, the legitimate tiebreaker is that Scatterboo leads neck first into every bit of contact he can find on the field, and that makes him a bit more of an injury risk for me. Also, he's just, from an athletic standpoint, not nearly as talented as Ashton Jeanty. So I'll go with Jeanty. I think he has a higher likelihood for more of these ceiling games that aren't of the 3, 4, 5 touchdown variety. He can do it on accumulating some yardage, and I think his ability to stay on the field will be a bit higher.
I think Genty's ceiling might be a little bit lower, but I think he'll be the more consistent one. 19.8 touches per game. So leading everyone in that metrics. Quinshon Judkins and Scadaboo would be left last in that here in 17 touches per game, Steve. So hearing that, are you going with Ashton Genty or Cam Scadaboo, or is it maybe one of these other guys?
I am going Ashton Genty rest of season. Followed by Quinshon Judkins, and then Scadaboo, and then Amarian Hampton. Just because Hampton, I don't know what's going on with that injury. Until we know more, I'm out on him. But if he gets a diagnosis of like, hey, he'll be back in 3 weeks, then flip Scadaboo down to last, and I will take Hampton over him. Genty does have the highest ceiling, I believe. He also has the safest floor. Scadaboo is 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of runner. It's fun to watch in a weird, twisted way, kind of like, watching someone get CTE progressively throughout the season, as fun as that can possibly be. This man will not be able to spell his name by the end of the season, let alone like healthily handle a full workload. I do expect Tyrone Tracy to also start cutting into that more and more and more as he returns healthy. So Genty, unquestioned RB1 of this group.
Man, I think you're disrespecting Cam a little bit. Like, first of all, we did get clarity on why he's always shaking his head, and apparently he just like has a little like OCD tendency. He likes to just make sure his helmet's on straight and it needs to fit perfect. And he said like it used to stick to the side of his face before he had a nice beard going there. So I think with Cam Scadaboo, like I don't know, man. I think they told us what we're going to expect from Tyrone Tracy. I know it was first game back from the injury, but he was a full practice all last week. I know it was a short week, but I think Cam Scadaboo, I'm with Eric. I think it's neck and neck. Like how big of a difference? What would you have to give up, Eric, to move from Cam Scadaboo up to Ashton Genty? Do you think like in a trade?
I mean, it's definitely Scadaboo plus, right? Whether it's handcuffed to a player that I need or like more of a stashy type of lottery ticket player. I don't know, and Isaiah Bond or Rondé Gatson, someone that would be like a kind of medium to higher waiver priority on any given week. Something along those lines. They're not too far off, point being.
Okay. How are you ranking these guys? Like I would say it's Genty, Cam, and then I'd go Quinshon over Amarian just because of the injury. Steve, what about you?
Ashton, Quinshon, Cam, and Amarian. But if Amarian gets a decent bill of health in the next week, flip Scadaboo to last.
Okay. Eric?
I've got them exactly as you do. I think Ashton and Cam are relatively close. Then Quinshon, and I mean we can be optimistic, but I don't think that we're getting good news on Omarion Hampton in the immediate term. So being without him for a few more weeks and potentially longer is tough to stomach.
Yeah, the thing that takes Omarion down is if the Chargers really are snooping out there for running back depth, like what happens if they go out and grab someone like a Breece Hall on an expiring contract or something like that, and then Omarion comes back and they already invested a day 2, day 3 pick into someone like that. So that could be an issue.
Whether or not they do, right? Like if they're legitimately having those conversations, it's because they have concerns about his ability to make a return in the short term, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going out there giving up meaningful capital if they're confident he's going to be back the moment he's eligible off IR, right?
Well, and the thing with like Quinshon, where I don't think I can have him above Cam right now, Steve, is 2.4 targets per game. Cam Scadaboo, 4 targets per game. And that's with a week 1 performance. He really didn't see much action at all. So I don't know, man. I like Quinshon.
He's Derrick Henry. He's Derrick Henry, right? Like,
yeah,
going to be out there making some people look dumb. But if he doesn't get into the end zone, it's going to be real tough to roster him.
Yeah, I got some gambling connections coming on him later in the show. So excited to break that down. Let's get to which quarterback would you rather roster rest of season? Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Drake May, Jayden Daniels. Pat Mahomes, QB1 currently. I don't know who saw this coming. Bounce back season, 24.8 points per game so far, 3-star strength of schedule rest of season coming from Fantasy Pros. Baker Mayfield, quarterback 4 right now, and doing it without a lot of his weapons, right? Emeka Egbuka just went down this past week. We are hopefully getting a healthy Mike Evans back for Monday Night Football, but Chris Godwin has, played one kind of healthy game. So it's been great from Baker Mayfield. 4-star strength of schedule the rest of the way. Drake May, quarterback 7, a guy I think we all as a program were very much pro in draft season. QB7 currently 20.8 points per game, 2-star strength of schedule rest of the way. And then Jayden Daniels. And I know this might be like the low-hanging fruit, and maybe it's the guy that we all still drafted earlier than the rest of these guys. QB10 right now, 19.9 fantasy points per game. So below these guys currently in fantasy production, 3-star strength of schedule rest of the way. Steve, is it Jayden Daniels over this group still?
Yeah, for me it is, at least, because he has something that none of these guys have, and that's Terry McLaurin coming back. I know Baker has had some guys injured as well. One thing that Baker has that's kind of weirdly going to, I think, hurt him a bit is that Bucky Irving is coming back. This team does not seem overly excited to turn around and hand the ball to Rachaad White too many times. And that increases his passing volume. But Jayden Daniels is getting his best offensive weapon back. He is still a great runner. It's hard to say, like, this is not a situation of, like, I don't want any of them rest of season. Like, I want them all, right? Like, if you have one of them, you're happy with all of them. But Jayden Daniels, to me, just feels like the guy that, I mean, I watched him in that game last night, and I just was like, yeah, he is maybe the 3rd best quarterback in the league right now. And he makes it look really effortless.
Eric, it's very interesting because the argument Steve makes for Daniels, you could kind of make for Patrick Mahomes, who's getting Rashee Rice back this week from suspension. And then also Mike Evans will be back in the mix, and when we can get him and Emeka Egbuka, who has a couple weeks under his belt, back as well. I think the Bucs could maybe argue they have the best receiving core of this group. So how do you kind of parse through them when we're looking for rest of season value?
I parse through them unwillingly and unhappy if I'm having to actually make this decision, as I am right here on these airways. To Steve's point, these are all players that I would be thrilled to be rostering for the rest of the season. And if I'm making that decision, I'm probably looking to trade one of the guys that I am making the decision between, because you're going to have a lot of productivity sitting on your bench. The thing that is interesting about the comparison between Mahomes returning Rashee Rice and Terry McLaurin returning for Jayden Daniels is that the reasonable projection for Mahomes is that the return of Rashee Rice probably means that we're going to see him doing less running than he's been doing so far. Yeah. He's kind of been using that as his escape hatch when his somewhat mediocre pool of receivers, Xavier Worthy aside, can't separate, can't pull away from a defender, can't get open. He'll just tuck it and run. And I think that running element goes away for him. Whereas with Jayden Daniel, the ability to run plays off of his ability to stretch the field with Terry McLaurin, and vice versa. Terry McLaurin going downfield opens up running lanes for Jayden Daniels. So Jayden Daniels is the number one choice among this lot for me. After that, Drake May. Call me a basic bro. I like the guys that are going to run. That is a great way to establish a floor and to reach into some upside. So I'll go with the 2 running options. And then after that, it's literally flipping a coin between Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield, because even though I think it'll decrease, we'll see Mahomes run a little bit more than Baker. I'll give the edge to Mahomes as the 3rd option in this list of 4.
I think what's interesting here is that while Jayden Daniels is averaging the most rushing yards per game among this bunch here at 44 yards per game, Mahomes is at 37, which you alluded to, Eric, probably comes down with Rashee Rice. Baker at 26 yards, Drake May down at 23. He's not scrambling as much as he did last season. Maybe part of that is him developing more into a little bit more of a pocket passer where he can find multiple reads, get through a couple progressions before taking off.
Well, that's a Josh McDaniels kind of thing. That's a result of having it's so tricky with Josh McDaniels because he might be the best offensive coordinator right now in football. He just might be. Like, he's always been what's that?
Falsehoods, lies.
I mean, look what he's doing with this team. I mean, this team is
dude's playing on his head. He is absolutely white hot right now.
And every throw that he designs is meant to be like, it's easy, it's quick, it's bang, 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 right? Like that ball gets out of your hands fast in New England. In that system, that's what you do. So the running option isn't really there, especially because New England just doesn't have a run game, which is insane that a Mike Vrabel coach team devoid of a running back, like at all. It's crazy. But that's a Josh McDaniels. It's a symptom of having Josh McDaniels as your OC. Your passing numbers are going to go up, but your rushing numbers are going to go down as a quarterback.
And that's exactly where I was going to push back on your point, Seth. Right, the rushing is down from what we saw last year, but it's not scrambling. Right, Drake May is number 5 in scrambles per game at 3.5. It's designed runs. He's got a little more than one design run per game on average. And to Steve's point, that is McDaniels doing, right? He wants you airing the ball out. He built an offense around one of the most statuesque quarterbacks in all of NFL history, Tom Brady, right? So it's really the design runs. And I mean, I can't fault the guy, right? Like I say he's not the best play caller in the league because there are a couple of guys that are just in another galaxy right now, but he's having a phenomenal rebirth as an offensive coordinator and a play caller. And if throwing the ball through Drake May is going to be as effective as he's seen, he's not going to call those running plays, right? So we'll see some scrambles here and there.
He'll keep you healthy. Tom Brady did not get hurt for 1 second with Josh McDaniels as his OC. Josh McDaniels will keep you healthy.
Well, he did tear his ACL, right?
It wasn't with Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels wasn't. Oh, was it really?
Yeah, I believe it was Charlie Weiss at the time.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe I might need to get a little confirmation on that.
Dude, so trivia.
That is a deep one. I think for me, I'm with you guys. It is Daniels, but I think the gap is closing. Baker Mayfield does lead this group in passing yards per game, 257 per game. Not far behind is Drake May and then Mahomes. Jayden Daniels all the way down at 219 yards per game, 19th among quarterbacks right now. Baker also leads in touchdown passes. And also, only one of those is gone to Mike Evans. So Mahomes is also getting back Rice, which I think will help his TD upside. He has 11. Drake May not far behind with 10. So I think I would go here. And you guys know I'm the Drake May guy, but I'd probably go Jayden, Baker, and then May and Mahomes in that order. But I think it's very close.
I can get behind it. Like I said, there's no wrong answers.
Kyle, let's get the results of that first poll. Let us know here in the back end who was the right answer to that poll, and then also let's get this poll going too, and let people let us know who their quarterback is for the rest of season. And I'd say we're all still like saying these are quarterbacks 3 through 7-ish, and it's still very clearly Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, the top boys, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Eric, did you get an answer for
this Patriots 2008 staff? Is wild.
What is it?
Is absolutely wild.
Put it on me.
So guy named Bill Belichick, head man. I think you've heard of him. Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Then we have Bill O'Brien on wide receivers and Shane Waldron as a coaching assistant. Brian Flores, a coaching assistant on the defensive side, along with the special assistant for the secondary, Dom Capers, and linebackers coach Matt Patricia. What a murderer's row on the sideline for the Patriots in 2008.
And Tom Brady goes down, 18 plays into the season?
Yeah. Basically a cup of coffee.
Jeez.
What a waste.
Tough. All right, guys, let's get to which up-and-coming wide receiver would you rather roster rest of season? Zay Flowers, Teteroa McMillan, Brian Thomas Jr., or the man himself. We talked about him, Rashid Rice. Zay Flowers, wide receiver 17, 13.6 points per game. 3-star strength of schedule, rest of season. Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver 23, had his first 2 touchdowns this past week. Got Eric up there on the TD contest board a little bit higher, 12.8 points per game. 4-star strength of schedule. BTJ, wide receiver 26, started to come on the last couple weeks a little bit here. 11.8 points per game. 3-star strength of schedule. And then Rashid Rice, he is returning here, but averaged 13.3 points per game in 2023 as a rookie. And then last year, 3 games played, 21.7 points per game. Of course, that was right at the dawn of Xavier Worthy's career as well. 3-star strength of schedule. Eric, when it comes to Zay Flowers, T-Mac, BTJ, and Rashid Rice, who would you rather roster rest of season?
I am a sucker for upside. So number 1 with a bullet on that list is Rashid Rice. Last season, He had a 89.8% success rate against zone, which obviously Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs see a ton of. Literally the fifth best ever in the reception perception database. So that type of productivity and that ability to beat the zone coverage that he'll be facing a lot is just too enticing to leave on the side. After that, I will go with Brian Thomas Jr., who his breakout game was actually muted by a 55-yard touchdown coming off the board, thanks to Seth's boy, Travis Hunter, lining up on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage. So the arrow is pointing in the right direction. I think we are seeing that rapport and that understanding of the Liam Cohen offense there in Jacksonville coming together. After that, Teterow and McMillan, my guy, brought me those 2 touchdowns to move up on the board in the touchdown pick contest. And really, I mean, a regression to the mean, right? He had been seeing the type of target workload and volume that should have seen him in the end zone at this point. He just hadn't quite gotten there prior to week 6. So I think we'll see that sustain. And then finally, Zay Flowers. I mean, easily the most inconsistent of this list of 4, and we're not sure how long he's going to be without his quarterback.
Wow. The disrespect there is real for Zay Flowers. Do you have it as well, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, as far as disrespect can go in a thing like this, yeah, I guess Zay Flowers is going to get some here. I'm with Eric that Rashee Rice is definitely my most wanted and coveted pick because it seems like Kansas City just doesn't want to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. They don't. Then I'm going to go probably Teterow McMillan, then BTJ, then Zay Flowers. BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. should have had a 55-yard touchdown. I give him that. He also gets alligator arms, and he alligator armed the key drive of the game. He needed the catch over the middle, dropped. Ended the game right there. I mean, it was it was brutal. I don't know what's going on with him, but it's taking too much work to make him have a good game at this point for me to feel confident in him. That said, don't love having to rely on Bryce Young either. So,
yeah, honestly, like I think I'm still Zay in front of this group, so this is going to be no help at all to anyone. But Zay Flowers right now
as number 1.
Yeah, like honestly, he's leading this group in yards per game, 70.5, T-Max 63, BTJ 56.
Wait a minute. Okay. Yards per game. Didn't he have like one like stupid week and then like has been essentially a pumpkin the rest of the season?
He's had 2 games with
yards in week 1.
He's had 2 games with Cooper Rush and has been pretty decent in both of them. Like he hasn't killed you.
Oh yeah. We're talking about like top 15 options here. Pretty decent. Shouldn't be at the top of that list.
T-Mac, BTJ, they have 2 touchdowns. Flowers has 1. So getting unlucky there. He almost had a second touchdown 2 weeks ago. So with how, and you got to think too, like just offensive environment, dude. Like Zay is in this Ravens offense that has to continue to put up points because that defense is historically bad. And there's not really any other options there other than Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and like a YOLO ball to Rashad Bateman here and there. Like,
I think all these guys are on defenses that aren't like particularly great, so they all have to put up points.
I would have it Zay, Rice, T-Mac, BTJ in that order, personally.
Wow,
crazy behavior.
So everyone who's in a league with Seth, who has Zay Flowers, just start offering them up.
Go float him an offer.
I actually have him in quite a few leagues already, so maybe that's my
guy's coveting that juicy 12.5 points per week.
That's crazy.
Hey, have a little respect there. It ain't 12.5. It's 13.6. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. And he's got a 28-point game in that average.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Show me some median and let me know how you're feeling about these numbers.
Eric, one more time. Your rankings of this group is
Rashee Rice, Brian Thomas Jr., Teterow McMillan, and Zay Flowers.
All right. Which stud tight end would you rather roster rest of season? Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Tyler Warren, Jake Ferguson. Brock Bowers right now, tight end 12, 10.9 fantasy points per game, 3-star strength of schedule rest of the way. Trey McBride, tight end 5, 14 points per game. 2-star strength of schedule the rest of the way. Tyler Warren, tight end 4, 14.1 points per game. Been absolutely electric. I think everything people would want out of him so far this season. 2-star strength of schedule, though. And Jake Ferguson, maybe the surprise of the season at the tight end position. Tight end 1, 16.4 points per game, 3-star strength of schedule. Trey McBride finally found his way in the end zone this past couple weeks, boys. And Brock Bowers has been on the shelf, but I've actually started floating a couple offers out a couple managers' way for him, thinking maybe this is the time to still continue to buy low. So, Eric, what are your thoughts on these tight ends? Who would you rather roster rest of season?
The one I would rather roster rest of season, I'll feed you some red meat, as you only assigned one of these 4 names flowery adjectives as you described.
For real. I'm glad you caught that too.
Through 5 games.
Dude, I mean, Brock Bowers, come on, have a little respect. He's awesome.
I get it. Look, Tyler Warren is number 1 on this list for me. So there you go. I hope you feel real proud of yourself. I mean, look, for me, there's a clear tier break with Jake Ferguson on the wrong side of the tier. And I think you can make a case for Tyler Warren, for McBride, and for Brock Bowers to be number 1, and it be pretty defendable. I'll go with Tyler Warren because of everyone else, at least not named Jake Ferguson. His offense looks to be the most functional and sustainable throughout the course of the remaining games of the season. And week by week, he's getting more and more involvement as a ball carrier, which is a nice ace up the sleeve that nobody else on this list has. After that, I guess I'll go Trey McBride. I hope that Jacoby Brissett plays more games than Kyler Murray, or at least more than he was expected to. He can execute this offense where Murray cannot. Brock Bowers would be number 2, but I don't put a lot of emphasis or trust in guys who are injured. So until we have affirmation that he's coming back as soon as this week, he'll slide down a little bit. And Jake Ferguson is turning back into a pumpkin as soon as this week. His productivity ebbs and flows with the availability of CeeDee Lamb. So I still think he'll be a viable option. I just don't think he'll be performing anywhere near these heights once Lamb returns back to the offense. And I think, at least according to reporting, that's likely this week.
Steve, what about you when it comes to the tight ends?
Yeah, well, I don't want to let the audience think that you swayed my decision, because it was essentially, which of these options do you like? A, Tyler Warren, or some other schmucks? Like, that's how you introduced this segment.
Certified league winner Tyler Warren, or I don't know, some other.
Hey, it might have been my all-in selection or something about it. I don't know.
I will say I do think Tyler Warren is my number 1, followed by McBride, followed by Bowers, followed by Jake Ferguson. That's where I go.
Gang.
Okay.
My only exposure to Tyler Warren is on 2 different taxi squads in Dynasty, and I stare at him thinking about activating him every single week.
I got Tyler Warren as a throw-in trade, and I traded for Bijan, who just won me the game against the guy that traded him to me in a game I had no business winning.
Tyler Warren was a throw-in?
He was a throw-in.
You must have to give up your whole team for that.
I gave up Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, Alvin Kamara before Kamara turned really bad. There was still hope. And then this week, it was the craziest week because I had Etienne, Bijan, and Tyler Warren, but I also had Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Justin Fields, and Calvin Ridley, and I still won because those 3 big dogs put up 85 points for me.
Well, freaking get me in a spot in that league. My goodness, that is
you'd be furious today. So we have an issue in that league right now. Someone just traded Omarion Hampton for Christian McCaffrey. So there's discussions being had.
As there should be.
Please don't have those discussions.
It's not a veto. It's more of a what the
explain
is going
yourself.
On. Yeah, like what the collusion is going on here.
Okay, yeah.
Moving off an aging asset. What are we talking about?
It's not Dynasty.
Oh, interesting. Carry on.
Well, we didn't get much action in the polls. Not much action in the polls, but at least at the running back one, I know none of us got any points there. The chat went with Omarion Hampton. So, Kyle, keep putting in some polls to the audience. Let them vote for the rest of the way. Let us know towards the end of the show what we're looking at here. Before we get out of fantasy football, though, guys, I did want to pull up one of the questions we have here in the chat as well. For our friend Sergio has been super patient with us. Would you trade BTJ and Bucky for JSN and Chubb? I have White on my team too. I'm 3-3. Oh, man. I wish I could get anything back other than Nick Chubb.
You don't do that. You don't do this trade. No
way.
I
would if I get something else other than Chubb, and I would even consider it with Chubb, honestly.
I wouldn't consider it.
I'm kind of reading this as he's getting Bucky to pair up with White.
No, it's 4
as the backup.
BTJ and Bucky for JSN and Chubb.
I think he's giving up BTJ and Bucky.
Bucky, yeah.
Okay. What I was positing is he was on the BTJ side. Either way, I would want the JSN side, probably, even if it's just Chubb. I would much prefer anything else than Nick Chubb, but even without it, I think JSN's worth it.
I don't.
I agree. I'm there.
I'm the BTJ Bucky side.
Dude, Steve, at some point you gotta let go of your preseason.
Oh, I will say this.
JSN.
I will say this. I will own that I was wrong. JSN is legit. He is very, very good, and he's very good in this offense.
What did you see this weekend that you hadn't seen the last 2 weeks that you hadn't seen the previous 4? My goodness.
Hey,
nothing. But it keeps happening.
He
and
saw
at some point,
saw it sustain. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it just
appreciate
kept happening.
that.
It's not.
Dude,
it doesn't seem
real.
like a sustainable business model. But then again, like neither did McDonald's. So at some point, it just has to. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
And can I just take a second to give Steve his flowers here? Like the absolute void in this space of people that are willing to see how the season is played out and just hand up. I was wrong. I misplayed this one.
I was wrong about
list.
that one.
So shout out to our guy Steve.
No, yeah. Shout out, Steve. I appreciate that one.
Thanks, Eric.
Let's go ahead. Let's first shout out my boy Ben, who's in the chat as well. What's up, Ben?
Hi,
Good to see you. So, also let's get to one more question here for Would You Rather, and let's go to a little entertainment before we get to the betting cards. Which Halloween TV special would you rather roster?
Would I rather roster rest of season?
Sorry, we were having tech issues.
That's all right.
We were trying to go ahead, Steve. You are the entertainment betting expert, so you go ahead and introduce the topic here
and fix this. Let me step in and fix this for you here. All right, we got Halloween TV episodes. Which one would you rather watch? I don't think I can say the title of this one, but it's How I Met Your Mother's.
You can say it. It's all good.
Can I? Slutty Pumpkin? Is that allowed? I don't know what our ratings allowed. All right. Ted attends the rooftop Halloween party he's been going to each year, hoping that the slutty pumpkin, a girl he once met who wore a pumpkin costume, will appear again. Barney tries to persuade Ted to ditch the party in favor of a Victoria's Secret-themed party. Meanwhile, Marshall and Lily plan to enter a costume contest. Or would you rather watch The Office's costume contest episode, where Dunder Mifflin holds its annual Halloween costume contest? Oscar becomes irritated when no one seems to value the prize and changes his costume to rational consumer. Or That 70s Show's Halloween episode. On Halloween night, Fez embraces the holiday by dressing up as Batman. The gang decides to visit their old, burned-down grammar school, which they believe was destroyed by arson, to explore and tell ghost stories. Or would you rather take the electric Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Halloween Heist 2? Jake Peralta renews his annual Halloween bet with Captain Holt. Jake must steal Holt's wristwatch by midnight. Seth. Or actually, you know what? You never picked me first, so I'm not picking you first. Eric, which one would you rather watch rest of season?
I mean,
rest of the Halloween season.
Rest of the Halloween season. Clearly, I need to follow the direction that I have been led as a witness and go with Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Halloween Heist number 2. I understand that it's electric. I'm gonna put my own hand up in the air. I have seen nary a one of these episodes. Literally, not one of these has crossed my eyeballs.
I see. I was so nervous that this would happen because I picked the Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode, but Seth picked the other 3, and we both know that Seth's track record as a TV consumer is it's iffy,
questionable at best. Fair.
Yeah.
This man went on Popcorn and Root Beer and had his top 4 Halloween season movies. 3 of them were Halloween Town movies.
It tracks.
That's brutal.
My guy likes what he likes, right? He likes Halloween Town and Tyler Warren. He's a simple man.
I am.
I haven't seen any of these. I'll follow your lead and trust your judgment that Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the Halloween Heist 2, is hilarious. Of this list of 4 programs on the whole, I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is probably the funniest. Then I'll head into That 70s Show's Halloween, just because that gets in my feels and it is nostalgic. After that, How I Met Your Mother. There's something about the setup for this. The Slutty Pumpkin kind of reminds me of It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And I just picture the cast members of that show.
That's what comes to mind.
Wandering around. Yeah, exactly.
You hear Slutty Pumpkin and your first thought is the Peanuts?
Exactly. It's the Slutty Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
I wouldn't be going around telling people that. I wouldn't go around telling people that.
It's out there. It's on these airways. Come back and let me know. And then lastly, The Office. I will leave my most incendiary point. I think that is overrated as a television program.
Yeah. Yes. That's 2 of us. That's awesome. That never happens.
For me, I'm taking How I Met Your Mother, Slutty Pumpkin first. I mean, I think it's just a really great concept of an episode. Like, it's not just your traditional Halloween episode. Your ghost and your gogglies and your everything in between.
Gogglies. That's a new one.
Heard of them.
I said to Seth, I'm like, what about there's so many good shows that have great Halloween episodes. Family Guy has great. I mean, The Simpsons with the Treehouse of Horror has so many great episodes. American Dad, Bob's Burgers, the list goes on and on and on. And we're stuck with That 70s Show and The Office and How I Met Your Mother. It's just kind of brutal.
So ghost and goblins aside, Slutty Pumpkin, love the concept, love everything going on there. Halloween costumes over from The Office too. Everyone that they're running is just absolutely crazy, and they're just very fun. You have Angela, who shows up and has one of the best confessionals that she's like, oh, it was the only costume you could find. It was the slutty nurse costume. So just a lot of fun in that episode. Michael gets a bit crazy as usual. And give a little love to That 70s Show too, man. There's nothing wrong with some kids smoking some dope in an old school. I like that. I appreciate that.
Have you guys ever had what's your your best Halloween costume?
I don't know.
My whole life or my adult life?
Your whole life, I guess. But I was Psyduck one year as a kid. That was cool. And then
that is cool.
I might be Psyduck this year.
For real?
Oh, it's great. It's a great costume. Then it got dark because then I wanted to hang out with my uncle more, and he always did really ghoulish makeup. And then he gave me a big slit across my face. I looked dead. It was awesome.
No doubt.
Sick.
No doubt.
That was the year after Psyduck. It got dark.
I thought you modified your Psyduck costume.
No, Psyduck was a pretty cool one though. That was pretty sick.
Yeah. Steve, rank these TV episode special Halloween edition. Again, I'm going How I Met Your Mother, Office, That 70s Show, then Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I'll go Brooklyn Nine-Nine, How I Met Your Mother, The Office, That 70s Show.
Okay, and what's your favorite one we haven't mentioned as well that you were kind of throwing out some honorable mentions?
I love the Bob's Burgers episode where they trick Louise into thinking that they took her to a real haunted house. I think it's a really great episode and has a strong family message in it, so it's really cool.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are our top Halloween episodes for television shows. Make sure you're checking them out. Make sure you're dropping some questions here for us. We'll try to get to those at the end, and we'll go ahead and move forward with a little between bets. Between bets. Between bets. All right, let's get to between bets. It's our week 7 early bets and line movement predictions. We're going to help you fill out your week 7 betting cards. And let's start by looking back at how the cards did in week 6, boys. For me, I was 3-2 on my Sunday props. Touchdown bets crushed me. I had a lot of money on Puka Nacua as well and seemed to have jinxed him. So that didn't go great. And then I got to say, Thursday night, like shame on the New York Giants. They got me. I went all in on Bo Collins over 1.5 receptions. Saw the X wide receiver catch a big gainer down the stretch first play, and it was little Jordan Humphreys, who wasn't even on the depth chart prior to the game, who wasn't even supposed to be elevated. Bo Collins was. Saw about 4 snaps in the game, so the bet wasn't voided. So that was a bummer. We did hit the parlay of the week, though. Shout out to the Packers and the Bengals for coming through for me on that. So in the green, but not as much as it could have been. What about you, Steve?
I flew too close to the sun this weekend. I veered away from what had gotten me to my success. I was like, I am so good at picking over-unders that I will foray into like spreads and then a parlay that went sideways. I went 3-5 this weekend.
Okay. What about you, Eric?
Put some wins on the board overall. Went 1-1 against the spread and the money line. 1-1 on my totals. But saved the day. Finished 3-2 top line with a nice little juicy pick of Seattle straight up. So that puts me 3-2 and on the plus side of the ledger for last week. It also puts me as undefeated against Steve every time he and I.
I know. I've seen that entire
lines.
I love it. Love it.
For those that are following along on my betting card in the Discord channel, get over there if you're not, because yet again, Joe Flacco started. Yet again, I laddered his pass attempts, and yet again, he hit all 6 of them. So sitting on about a 3.5 unit upswing on Joe Flacco. And then I played my touchdown picks with a Tedero McMillan anytime touchdown score as well. So pretty solid day in the office last week.
Love it. Well, let's keep on swinging here in week 7, because that's what we do here at IBT. And we've all kind of started to find really profitable markets for ourselves. And Eric, it's really been for you in that ATS market when you're not betting Joe Flacco ladders. It's really been that ATS and money line bets. So let's go there with your first one that is taking us to Dallas.
Yeah, taking us to the Commanders, I believe, as they host the Dallas Cowboys, laying 2.5 points, coming off of a bit of a gut punch of a loss this Monday night up against the Chicago Bears. As we talked about earlier when we were making our rest of season designations, the presumption is that Terry McLaurin is available for this Commanders offense, and they will be wheels up from that point against a very putrid Dallas defense. So I think it's going to be a high scoring affair, one where I think the Commanders will be able to post a big enough number to overtake the Commanders, laying 2.5 there at home. And then the Carolina Panthers, they are laying a point against the hapless New York Jets. The New York Jets that completed the game with negative passing yards last week and now will be operating without Garrett Wilson. The Panthers, while they are not a juggernaut in this league by any means, I think that they are rounding into a form where I would consider them competent, or at least close to competent. And I think they should be able to win this one pretty comfortably. So happy to lay the point with I think they're 3-3 now, Carolina Panthers against the Jets.
Is there a world that we're looking at a new New York Jets head coach in 2026?
Yes. That world better be a reality.
Because also remember, this is how his counterpart in Detroit started a few years ago too, with an absolute stinker. I don't think that the Lions under Dan Campbell won a game for 6-7 weeks and then turned it around and had a really hot stretch down the board there. So I don't know, but it's worth the discussion.
There's no signs of a turnaround coming with this New York Jets team. It's getting worse. This offense, this offensive. Look at how that halftime went. They went into that halftime. What on earth? They had 3 minutes on the clock. They ran out of time on their own side of the field. After going for it on 4th down, he doesn't know what he's doing is the problem. The game is too fast for him. He's not able to keep up. His offensive coordinator is a joke. He doesn't know how to call a game. It's run, pass every single time. And then he's running it just is making no sense. Nothing they're doing is making sense. There's no cohesion. There's no
the play calls aren't on him, but yeah, I understand. It's been rough.
You're head coach. It's all on you. 1,000%.
It may not be his fault, but it's his problem. I think on merit, these conversations should be swirling. Practically speaking, I don't think they are. I think they brought him in knowing that they're firmly heading into a rebuild and a tank. And it's like, if you can turn something out of Justin Fields, cool. If not, we're going to start the clock ticking when you get your quarterback next year.
Yeah, could be. And Steve, you found a really nice home so far this season in the total market where you have 4 not only totals that you're picking, but also all overs, because that seems to be a thing that you're doing here. You're looking on the bright side these days.
I do, and I always bet the overs. Not once this season have I bet an under. Not once, because I don't want to root against the game. That's not fun. Like I
do enjoy riding under. It's kind of relaxing, actually. It's a different vibe.
No, I don't know. It's so stressful because then, like, every time someone gets a decent play, you're rooting against good plays. You're rooting against like explosions. Like, it's not fun. But I'll start out in Philly, where the Eagles are playing the Vikings. That over under is at 43.5. Right now. And I think that is a great number. I love to find the just for transparency purposes, what I try to do is keep anything around 40 points. I'm usually pretty bullish on at this point in the NFL because it is an offensive league. It's a passing league. People like to be up tempo and move the ball downfield. And even when games get out of hand, that's where teams start to like it, just for optics sake, not get blown out. They'll put up garbage time points. And even bad teams will kind of hover around 20 points a game. That's about where a bad offense sits. So if you're giving me 43.5 for an Eagles offense that is boring but not terrible, and a Vikings offense that's actually pretty good, and Kevin O'Connell knows how to call a game, I'm pretty satisfied with 43.5. I think that's perfectly doable. That comes out to, like I said, like 22 points per, and that's how you have to break it down in your head, right? Because these numbers start to get kind of weird. So the best way to do it is to break it down and be like, what do the teams have to do? How do we have to get there? After the Philly and Minnesota game, I have the Dolphins against the Browns. That's at 40.5. Now, the Browns are not good through the air, but they're really good on the ground, and the Dolphins have like an all-time terrible run defense. Like, it's abysmal. So Quinshon Judkins to the moon. Like, bet his props because he's going to go nuts.
Might have one of those for you, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. Didn't even see it. I just said that out of, just the fact that it's the truth. And then the Dolphins, that offense is still explosive, right? Devon Achane's going to do what he's going to do, and Tua's going to find a way to throw 3 interceptions but blame everyone else for the world's problems and then somehow put up 2 touchdowns as well, because that's Mike McDaniel for you, because he's still got one of the better play callers in the league as his head coach. 40.5 is not hard. Even bad teams can stumble into an over of 40.5. That's not a hard mark to hit. This next one, I was shocked at the number 39.5. Giants, Broncos. That's crazy, right?
I don't know, man. Anyone who watched that London game, I don't know if that was just the stinker of the Broncos or if that was.
It was. And everyone has to know that. No one's playing well in London right now. Those games are awful. This is an act of war by the United States to keep sending these games there right now. You can't do that. That's supposed to be an ally. This is a hostile move. 39.5. The Giants are scoring points. The Giants just kind of put butts, I guess, to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's a pretty good defense. The Denver Broncos are not nearly as good as they looked this weekend. And their offense is not nearly as bad as they looked this weekend. And one thing that I know about Sean Payton is he's got an ego, and a pretty big one. And he's going to come with all his best stuff this weekend against a pretty bad New York Giants defense. They can't really stop a nosebleed either. So I like that. And then if you'll allow me one more, I'll take the over in the Packers-Cardinals game, 44.5. Neither defense is particularly good. So
I would argue the Packers defense is honestly legit. I mean, the last 2,
because they kind of just got lit up by Joe Flacco and the Bengals a little bit.
Fair.
Their secondary is kind of cheeks.
Their secondary is starting to become what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. They were playing out of their mind, but I do think the front seven there in Green Bay is
the front
legit.
seven's fantastic. If you have one of the running backs, bad week. If you have a wide receiver, fire it up.
Mm-hmm.
Although no Marvin Harrison, so
Steve, you're going over on Packers, Cardinals, Giants, Broncos, Cleveland, Miami, and then Philly, Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
And Eric, take us to the money line market where you have a plus money upset for the Falcons.
Yeah, keeping the dream alive here, looking for some narrow underdogs. The Atlanta Falcons coming off of a tremendous win on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills, head across the country and face off against the San Francisco 49ers. A bit shocking to see this price out here. You can get Atlanta at plus 115 on the money line. I don't think that they are necessarily head and shoulders above San Francisco, but moreover, I don't think San Francisco is as good as their 4-2 record would indicate, especially with another catastrophic loss on the defensive side, this time being Fred Warner in that last game. Yes, Brock Purdy may be back. I don't know if Brock Purdy is a material change to this offense when compared to Michael McCorkle-Jones. George Kittle should be back, right? But ultimately, I think San Francisco can kind of hang in there in games where Atlanta is really finding their stride here down the stretch. What I like most about this environment in particular for Atlanta, currently number 2 in sack percentage. So whether it is Mac Jones, whether it is Brock Purdy, being able to heat either of those guys up is foundational to how you beat the 49ers. And this new look Atlanta defense is getting after the quarterback. So happy to get plus money for them in this one against San Francisco.
Can I ask, do you think this is like still a hangover from them getting like blanked by the Panthers?
I mean,
the Falcons?
Yeah. Do you think that's why like they're like still kind of getting disrespected a little bit?
Sure.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, I think this sets up like a letdown game, right? This is an Atlanta team that is absolutely on cloud 9 and now has to travel across the country. Yeah. I also think that San Francisco, to not the same extent, but similar to like Dallas, just gets a little bit more betting action. So their numbers kind of skew that way. And you tie that in with a 4-2 record. And I think they're sitting atop the NFC West right now on tiebreakers. So it's just, it's more market sentiment than I think actual like hard and fast data that is driving this line.
I don't know who cursed the Niners years ago with the injury bug, but my goodness, like I feel bad for their fans. They just can't catch a break. But speaking of catching a break, let's catch a break here with my player props. I got 4 of them for you tonight, starting with one that Steve already alluded to, Quinshon Judkins over rushing yards. BB consensus line right now when this release is probably looking somewhere in that 77.5 range. Judkins has hit this line in 3 of his last 4 games. 2 out of 2 doing it in Browns home games so far this season, averaging 102 yards per game. The Dolphins have allowed the most rushing yards over the past 2 weeks. And also, they are not able to stop the run a bit, which in my opinion just kind of goes to show that this is a team quitting on its coach, right? You hear it in Tua's presser. You see that's what's happening out on the field. I don't trust Miami's offense to keep the ball away from Cleveland with how good their defense is. So I'm all here with it. 4 straight running backs have gone over this total against the Dolphins, including Kamani Vidal last week for 124 yards and Rico Dowdle the week before, 206 yards. Staying in that same game, give me Dillon Gabriel over a half passing touchdown. Going to play this straight and probably with Judkins in a parlay for this Cleveland Brown game. Cleveland right now under Gabriel, they've looked okay. Gabriel had 2 passing touchdowns against Minnesota in their last game before this past week against the Steelers. Miami has allowed the 8th most passing touchdowns this season, 1.83 average. And every quarterback so far this season they face, that includes Justin Fields and Bryce Young, has at least thrown 1 quarterback. The Browns are actually averaging the 2nd most pass attempts per game this season at the 6th highest pace of play. Eric's told you when Joe Flacco's in Cleveland, he was laddering them constantly. You can almost do the same thing with Dillon Gabriel here. He has threw the ball an average of 44 times the past 2 weeks. So I'm expecting a more positive game script here. So I don't think you'll have that quite volume, but still should see plenty of action, get into the end zone once again with his arm. I'm going with a rare under here. Give me Zach Charbonnet on the under rushing yards. BP consensus line has this coming out right around 36.5. So I'll probably see if I can find it maybe closer to 40-ish. But Sharps hasn't hit 40 yards once since week 1. He's also gone under his rushing yards prop in 3 of the last 4 games. He's averaging just 2.6 yards per carry this season and has the 9th most stuff runs as well this season. And part of that is just like how the Seahawks are using him, right, guys? Like it's the short yardage work. It's the goal line back type of work. He's seen the 5th highest stat carry front rate this season. Also has seen the 11th most average defenders in the box. So either way, he hasn't been super explosive. I don't think he's going to break out a big one here. He's outside the top 40 in juke rate, evaded tackles, and explosive rating. So going up against Eric's Houston Texans this weekend on the road, this defense has allowed the 8th fewest rushing yards per game as well. So feeling pretty good about Charbonnet under his mark as he's averaging just 24.3 rushing yards per game this season on the road. And I'll round it out here with a conditional one. If Mike Evans is active, I'm on the over receiving yards. Injuries starting to mount here for Tampa. We talked about it earlier in the show. No Bucky Irving, no Chris Godwin for sure this week. Emeka Ibuka trending towards not playing. Rappaport, he was saying that we might have Mike Evans out there this week back at practice after missing 3 weeks with that hammy. And other than injury, I really like this setting up for Mike Evans here. I think he'll feast against the Lions on Monday Night Football, who have allowed the 2nd most points to the wide receiver position over the last 2 weeks. X receivers have hit their receiving yards total in 6 out of 6 games against the Lions, averaging 87 yards per game. And the Lions have allowed the 7th most receiving yards per game, and they're coming in big chunks as well, right? They're allowing the 9th most yards per attempt. So big gainers down the field. It doesn't take a lot of receptions to get it on. That's why I'm not going like with the reception total here for Mike Evans, but just the yards. DJ Reed, he's hurt. Amik Robertson, Terry and Arnold, they've been pretty mediocre so far this season. So Eric, Steve, any thoughts on the player props there?
The Mike Evans one is bold.
I get it. He's coming back. Great matchup though, Eric.
Yeah, I don't mind that one actually, and I think there might be some softness in the market whenever that line posts if he does return. So that would be one where if you're going to get in there early, because I would imagine that it would move a fair amount. Of that lot, I probably like the under the most. This Texans run defense is absolutely nasty, and while to your point, Zach Charbonnet is in damn near a 50-50 split between himself and Ken Walker. A lot of his carries are coming in those highly compacted parts of the field. So his yards per carry is looking pretty gross because of it.
One more main wager for me here. It's Seth's skinny parlay of the week presented by Chipotle. Leg 1. Give me the Packers money line floating out there right around minus 300 here. Green Bay has won this game last season 34-13. And after firing on all cylinders so far coming into this game, I really liked what they did against the Bengals. I know the Bengals had some chunk plays down the stretch that got them back into that game, but 3-1-1 for the Packers. Don't trust the Cardinals as far as I can see them right now. The Packers top 2 in total defense. The Cardinals bottom 7 in yards allowed. And also allowed the 2nd fewest yards per play do the Packers, particularly effective against the run there. So I think this offense is also doing really well right now. Top 9 in yards per play average compared to the Cardinals 26. Cards have lost 4 games in a row. It feels like that DeMercado fumble sent us into a different reality where they're just absolutely dog crap right now. I don't know if Kyler Murray getting back healthy will really help him. Leg 2 of the parlay, Tucker Kraft, 40-plus receiving yards. That's going to be an alt probably. He'll probably open somewhere between 47 and 50. I'm going to alt that down, tease that down, because Kraft has hit this line in 3 out of 4 games. Cards linebacker sucks. You could probably honestly get away with going with the normal line. Last week, I took an alt on Tyler Warren's reception. He went almost that over that entire line in the first quarter. So like Tucker Kraft, the Cardinals have allowed the most targets and receptions plus the 2nd most yards 2 tight ends this season. Likely going to come out here around a parlay. It's going to be plus 150-ish. So skinny parlay presented by Chipotle, not officially sponsored by us, but we're putting the line out in the water now. So come while the getting's good, boys. We appreciate you. Eric, you help out with the partnerships over there. You think Chipotle's got a little run with us?
Oh, dude, totally. The bad news though is if I were to ink a Chipotle partnership, you would know nothing about it. They would just pay me in burrito bowls under the table, and everything would be great.
That's fair.
What do you get in your bowl?
Oh, dude, I'm
chicken brown.
I am subscribed to like the Chipotle hacks. Like I'm over here getting like half and half protein and extra scoops of everything. I'll live off a Chipotle bowl for like 2.5 meals easy.
Yeah. Mine's so bland. I don't even want to share it on the air. It's so embarrassing.
Dude, are you just like chicken, rice, and cheese? Like, are you like a 4-year-old?
Yeah, kind of. So it's rice with no cilantro. Because I got that. It tastes like dish soap thing. And then no beans.
You got them making custom rice for you whenever you show up.
It's already made. It's in the hot box. And then I get chicken, cheese, and sour cream.
Wow.
So it's basically a quesadilla.
Yeah, more or less.
Wow, that is sad. That is sad. Mine would take too long to go through, but I get pretty much everything I can on there other than beans. But big brown rice guy, actually. Big brown rice.
I like the brown rice better than the white rice.
I think you and I are in lockstep. What I gotta say, you're in the Chipotle line and they're scooping anything that's not protein. Just ask them to hit you with another scoop. They'll do it. They'll load that thing up if it's not an extra scoop.
I also want to like contest and say too, if like we're being critical at all, we gotta have more onions and peppers action, because that's my favorite part of the bowl. And half the time I go to Chipotle, I don't have onions and peppers dripping. Like, what are we doing here?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a regional thing. In Texas, we're steady with the fajita mix.
Well,
they never run out. They always run out.
They never run out, dude. They're like flinging it to people like a hibachi while you're waiting in line.
Think of where Seth lives. A
Mexican
person hasn't set foot in Seth's town in probably 150 years.
Easy.
This is true.
I was just gonna say
we don't sure if the guy behind the counter can spell the word pepper.
Right.
That might be fair, but
they think mayonnaise is spicy there.
I will say the only reason I had this parlay sponsored by Chipotle today is because I want to go to Chipotle, and there's not one near me now, so it's sad. But guys, that is enough talk about Chipper. Let's go ahead and get to our touchdown call contest, and let's get to the leaderboard here. Rob has taken the lead over Trav. Trav's held it almost the entire season. Rob's at 10, Trav's at 9. Jake Perry tied with Steve at 8. No touchdowns for me last week. I'm stuck at 7. James climbing the board as well. He's in 6 with 7. Trash Sandwiches and Eric tied at 6 apiece. Ben with 5. It's getting tight here, boys. It is getting tight. And I'm sending it to Eric first, because you've done a great job clawing yourself back into this. Where are you heading with your touchdown calls this week, my friend?
Fresh off of a 2-touchdown performance from one of my guys, Tedero McMillan, last weekend. And I think I might be able to pull the inside straight here. I think I got 2 guys that could potentially find the end zone twice in their upcoming games. We have spent plenty of time glazing up Quinshon Judkins on this week's episode, so I won't exhaust or bore anyone with the details. I think he is one of the favorites, and I think from a betting standpoint, one of the favorites to find his way into the end zone at least once this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he does so twice. My other side of the card, going with the plus money, plus 165 over at BetRivers for DK Metcalf, a player who is finding his way into the end zone plenty this year, and now he gets to line up against a Cincinnati secondary that is just hemorrhaging yards after the catch. Almost 1,000 yards after catch allowed this
Great
season.
Use of the word
Nearly 57.5% of their receiving yards allowed have come after the catch. And that is obviously the specialty of Aaron Rodgers, setting up those passes beautifully for his guys to run after the catch, and the specialty of DK Metcalf, who, despite being 4 inches taller and 50 pounds heavier than his primary cover corner, DJ Turner, is about as, if not faster than he is. So I think we're going to see a ton of action for DK Metcalf on Thursday night, including a trip to the end zone.
Okay. I'm going to also piggyback on Eric. I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins -145 at Bet365. Fans have allowed running backs to score in 3 straight games where a RB had over 18 rushing attempts. If Judkins didn't have that touchdown callback against Minnesota, he would have scored in 3 of his last 4 games. I'm also going to take, if it's in the plus money range, Mike Evans. We already talked about him earlier. He has found the end zone in 53.3% of his last 15 games. Baker Mayfield averaging just over 2 passing touchdowns per game, tied for the most this season. Lions are tied for the second most receiving touchdowns allowed to wide receivers, 2 per game, including 6 in the past 2 weeks alone. Steven, your touchdowns this week, one of them coming at a very plus money payout.
Yeah, big plus money guy. And I love I love sometimes your stats where you give like these big, like, well, if this thing had happened, then this would have happened. Like if your grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike, right? Like, so that's just how it goes.
It was an 80-yard touchdown that got called back, dude.
Yeah, but he didn't have a touchdown. So I went with Jaxson Dart. He is big plus money. I think Jaxson Dart is going to be running for his life this weekend. And you know what? Of every quarterback in the league, I bet he ranks as the number 1 like scramble quarterback right now in terms of just how many times he tucks the ball and runs away.
It's one read and go. It's one read and go.
It really is. And like sometimes it's no read and go. He just kind of snaps the ball. The vibes aren't there. And he's like, I'm running. And he takes off. And he's really weirdly good at it. Very Drake May last year-esque, right? Like kind of like
Agreed.
He shows the flashes with the arm, but the legs are really like what's keeping this offense afloat. So I like Jaxson Dart, especially against that devastating pass rush of the Denver Broncos. And then I'm going to go with Travis Etienne. I don't love betting on like Jaguars in general because I just don't know what that offense looks like all the time. But I do know that Travis Etienne is a good running back. I like what's going on here. I haven't picked him yet, I don't think, this year. I got a couple touchdowns out of Etienne last week. So my role with running backs has been so far. Running backs have been where I'm making my money.
Same here.
As far as the wide receivers go, Tedero and McMillan just needed me to stop picking them to score touchdowns because I kept doing it, and then he never did it, and then I didn't pick him, and there you go. So I like Etienne. Dart, I'm actually weirdly more sure of. Like that just feels like the one that I'm like, yeah, that'll happen. Yeah. I do love your guys' Quinshon Judkins pick though, because like, I mean, at this point, what are we doing here? Miami, I don't even know how they fix this. That's my issue.
You fire the head coach, and
I just don't think it's a Mike McDaniel problem.
I mean, it's a culture thing, dude. You hear it from Tua. You hear it, and I think it also
all right.
to
So
Tua.
Can we talk about like? Do we have time to talk about this Tua thing for like 5 seconds? How can you be the leader of the team? How can you be the leader of the team and be like, leadership sucks? And brother, are you tone deaf? Like, are you all right?
Well, there's also
Did you take one too many hits to the head. Did you hear it before you said it?
I believe it was Deshaun Hamilton who came out on Twitter too and said that when he spent a little bit of time with the Dolphins, Tua was late to a meeting as well. So it's not just it's kind of like
don't like Tua. Generally, it just doesn't seem like he's a great teammate. Very Russell Wilson-ish.
I think I think he's one of those quarterbacks who will need a fresh start somewhere. We can judge him a little more accurately there. And
Flores was right about everything.
maybe
hot coaching name for next season. Breaking news: Jaxson Dart currently sitting number 4 in the NFL with a 10.1% scramble rate.
Okay. Good call out there. And guys, if you want more information like this, more of our wagers, head over to the IBT Football family. You can enter the touchdown contest. You can win yourself a plaque from our friends over at Dynasty Decks and some IBT swag. You're going to get those full cards. You're going to get access into the memorabilia giveaways, which we're definitely overdue for giving one away. So hopefully we can do that here in the next week or two. I'll talk to Tyler on that, who's hoarding all the jerseys for us. And then you can also get access to all the questions you want. And let's get to a couple questions that we have here in the chat right now before we get out of here. First from Juan. What's up, Juan? Hope you're having a great evening. Is Harold Fanning Jr., AJ Barner, Michael Mayer, Zay Jones, Bam Knight, Booty, Tez Johnson, Burden, or Demario Douglas worth a pickup? His bench currently Gainwell, Henderson, Sharp, Flournoy, Mason Taylor, Kittle on the IR. I would drop Flournoy Ryan Flournoy for Bam Knight for sure, Kayshon Boutte, and and Fannin as well. And probably AJ Barner too, if we're getting real specific. Eric, what about you?
Else?
No, that's it.
Bit by bit.
And Zay Jones, actually.
I'll try to narrow it in. I think that I'm also dropping Flournoy. If I need a running back, I am adding Bam Knight. If I need a tight end, I'm adding Harold Fannin.
Good call,
Jr.
by the way, Eric. I know you were ahead of the game on the Bam Knight.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, dude, I was the first one out there. Sicko
were.
mode. And I'll stick with the sickos. If you need a wide receiver, I'm going Luther Burden. Arrows pointing in the right direction, close by.
Yes. Yeah, he's looking good, right?
Maybe.
He is.
Go
I'll qualify this further. Juan, if you're still with us, we love you and we love your question. If you have to start a wide receiver, it's probably Kayshon Boutte. If you have time to wait, it is definitively Luther Burden.
I do want to give a little bit of medical opinion on the DJ Moore situation, because we saw he had to be hospitalized, right? He was kind of taken to a hospital real quick in an ambulance. Then it came out as a groin injury. It sounds like he'll be fine. It's probably, if the reports are accurate with what was going on, it sounds like it's going to sound gross and it's pretty rough. It's called testicular torsion. And
that's what I was going to guess.
Yes. So it's exactly what it sounds like. And it is a simple fix, but something that does need to be urgently fixed so that blood supply doesn't get cut off. And it's very painful, but he should be fine if it was that.
Okay. Well, good insight there. And yeah, I think it'll only be Flournoy we're dropping from that roster, though, for any of those guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. I didn't even give an answer. Yeah, drop Flournoy. Start Mason Taylor. He's going to get about 700 targets this week because Garrett Wilson's out. And then drop Flournoy. I like Boutte. I like Tez. I like Burden. And I like Bam.
Okay. Blessed Express. What's up, Blessed? Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Trade Herbert, Etienne, and Ladd for Dak, Henry, and Odunze. No way. You're giving up the best player in that trade, and it feels like you're making a trade just to make a trade there.
No, thank you. I will pass on this trade as well.
I don't like it either.
It seems like there's no point.
That's coming from me too, who doesn't like Ladd, and I'm still saying no.
Yeah.
You're giving up a top 12 player, and the best guy you're getting back is Odunze, I think, in my opinion.
Who looked pretty rough this past game.
I mean, he was another player who fell victim to circumstance. Some pretty big plays wiped off the board, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Odunze. I would say he is definitely a step down, but neck and neck with Devon Etienne.
Okay. All right. Well, gentlemen, great stuff here from both a fantasy and gambling perspective. That is going to do it for us tonight on the In Between Fantasy Football podcast. If you've rode along with us this long, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the entire channel. We've got fantasy football and NFL betting content, college football betting, NASCAR betting, PGA betting, entertainment betting, all to help you cash more and to enjoy the ride along the way. Also, be sure to check out inbetweenmedia.com for some dope written content. For Eric Romoff, Steve Lawson, and Kyle Scott, I'm Seth Wilcock. Thanks for watching, and keep it in between until next time, y'all.